Hello everyone, welcome to episode 9 of Gypsy Jazz Fridays. And today we're going to take a look at a solo BIRELI played on the Charlie Parker Miles Davis standard DONNA LEE. Last week's episode was also about BIRELI, where we're taking a look at Hungary. And I had so much fun transcribing BIRELI, which is something that I didn't do a lot until now, that I decided to stay with BIRELI, maybe do a couple episodes. I have a lot of material also that I will make only for my patrons. I didn't do it yet because I was very preoccupied with the crowdfunding campaign of my book. Right now there is a crowdfunding campaign running on Indiegogo for my first Van Hemert system book. And if you're not familiar with the Van Hemert system, it's basically the system that I devised to learn to play jazz guitar or gypsy jazz guitar as efficiently as possible. And the book is filled with tools that I use every day, starting from zero. You don't know anything about jazz guitar or about improvising in a jazz style, to the end of the book, at which point you should have a decent level, maybe a good level even. Of course, there's a lot of practice hours in between the beginning and the end of the book. And also there's a video series of 10 videos in which I demonstrate everything, every concept in the book, and give you additional information. So it's not only the book, it's a book which is in a logical order from beginner to advanced, and then there's the video series which is equal part to the book. If you are interested in getting hold of a copy, click on the link in the description. There's a link to my Indiegogo campaign, and you can get a copy this April. So let's get started with this solo that I transcribed from BIRELI. I'm not going in the order of the solo as usual, I'm going in the order of the chords. So this first lick is for the first 3 chords, which is A flat, F7, B flat 7 for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. So this is a typical BIRELI lick with a very high note at the end, where you just have to take a leap of faith and try to hit it. And as you could hear, I didn't hit it the last time. But I don't mind. It's more of the effect of, it's just a fun effect of trying to see if you can get this high note. And if you get it, it's nice. And if you don't get it, it's still fun. Let me play it on a backing track. The backing track, as always, is on my channel. There's a link to the backing track in the description. This is a lick for the same 3 bars. He starts differently. Let me play it first. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. Now in this lick, he's starting with an A flat major triad arpeggio. And the first lick he was starting with a A-flat major 7. Now both of these licks work in both situations, so that can be confusing. And I'm not sure I would ever play this one. Even though it's nice, but I'm so used to playing a major 7 arpeggio there, like in this position. So probably I would just play that. And then play one of both endings. Right, either this ending or the first lick ending. Right, so you can choose or you can learn both of them, but for me it's pretty confusing to have licks that are that similar but a little difference, and you can mess yourself up if you don't pay attention. The second half of the lick is kind of a country-like 6th interval lick. But only the first 3. Now, if you want to play it like a violin player, you would do like this. So 1, 2, 1. I would probably play it like that if it's a slower tempo. But the most guitar players would just drag their first finger and kind of time the picking. I always find that very difficult, but yeah, if it's really fast, probably not another option. Let me give it a try. Now we get to the next part of Donna Lee, which is a 2-5-1 to A flat, right? So we have beginning, A flat, F7, B flat 7, 2 bars, and then it's a 2-5 to A flat, just a normal 2-5-1. And this is a typical signature BIRELI phrase based off of a jungle phrase. Let me first play what BIRELI plays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now he has many variations. I think not in this PDF, but I'm gonna make an episode only for my patrons. And then there's a variation of this lick, and it's based on the Django idea that goes like this. Now it's very similar, but BIRELI likes to play this phrase in that lick, where he goes to the 3rd of the dominant chord, so E flat 7, with 2 chromatic notes, which is a really nice effect. In the Django phrase, doesn't have that. That's what everybody plays, but BIRELI's variation is very typical to him. Can I play this? I can play this at the end and the beginning. Here we have a phrase for the 2-5-1 to F minor, because at one point it kind of modulates to F minor. It's in the second half with A flat, F7, B flat. And now instead of a 2-5-1 to A flat, there's a 2-5-1 to F minor. And this lick is for that part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One, two, three, four. In the end, there's the free release, right? The Beethoven theme makes kind of a... It's maybe a joke even, but it's also a nice musical statement. In the beginning, it's not really a diminished arpeggio. You would think so. But there is this A flat in it. It gets another flavor. It makes it much more difficult. I could even see him actually playing in a diminished arpeggio, but just hitting that A flat by accident. Something like that. But it's a nice effect, so maybe worth practicing. Actually, I chickened out and I played a normal diminished arpeggio. Just by habit. It's pretty weird to do. It feels very unnatural because I've played so many diminished arpeggios on guitar until now. But the effect is almost the same. I think it's more about... Here we have another really nice 2-5-1 lick to F minor, and it goes on. It's pretty long, it's 2 systems. And it's again with a diminished arpeggio. Let me play the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One, two, three, four. Ends again with a diminished arpeggio. And the beginning, it's some kind of chromatic thing. It just sounds nice, easy fingering. This bend is pretty hard to do on the G string. I actually don't know if BIRELI plays on the G string. This is just a fingering I like. So if you bend on the G string, you have to push pretty hard. Try to really swing that scale in the beginning. Now I played it a little bit differently from what's written in the tab because I started the lick too late. And I noticed that when I was playing it, but I just went with it. And I still managed to play most of what is written there, just at a different place in time. And although I didn't do it on purpose, it's a good example to show you that you don't have to play exactly what's written here. Of course, it's good practice to start with it, but then you should experiment with it. I think these phrases are very doable, despite what the thumbnail is saying. I don't think you need an energy drink for this. Just some practice. And if you are already very familiar with diminished arpeggios, I think you'll have quite an easy time to get these licks in your fingers. Now I have 5 more phrases. I'll save those for the patrons. And I also have a transcription of Hungaria live. Last week I did the Hungaria from the album Move, that's a studio recording, but I also now transcribed the live in Paris version. So next week I'm probably going to do the last episode about BIRELI for a while, and I'm going to look at that version, half of it for YouTube and the other half is for Patreon. If you are interested in my book, check out the crowdfunding, and if you want to download any of these tabs or any of the tabs from any of my other videos, check out my Patreon, link in the description, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!